I'm Karen Reinhardt, and Olive and I, and hi there. I'm Karen Reinhardt, and Olive and I, and Stella is somewhere, are currently holed out in our basement, which is the quietest, safest place in the house. Having my husband working from home has been really nice. He cooks a lot, but I had to find a quiet place, so here we are. I wanted to bring home just a few points that have been on my mind lately with this whole quarantine and isolation thing and not being able to see people and you're stuck in your home and I know I've been like looking around thinking my house is dirty. I should have decorated this. I want to change that. Look at that mom down the street with the young kids. I wish I'd raised my kids like she did. She's doing a much better job than I ever did. There's a lot of room for interior talk. And so I've been kind of reminding myself of some things lately, and it's funny just when I think I've gotten older and I'm wiser, like oh, I don't care what people think about me anymore. Been there, done that. I just this morning dropped off a plant to a neighbor that I've never met. And I'm like, oh, her house is really pretty. Oh, look, she actually opened the door to say hello. Look how she's cute. She's brushed her hair and she has her cute little outfit on. And I'm standing there in these sweatpants, okay, and I had on a paint splattered hoodie, a hat, pretty much hair like this, but this big floppy hat, no makeup. And I thought, I literally had a moment of insecurity and almost embarrassment, like I look like crap. It's the first time she's met me. Um, and I'm like, when am I going to get over that? So anyhow, I wanted to read a few of my columns. I'm a retired syndicated newspaper columnist, and some of them are in book form. And I kind of blew the dust off of a very old one that I wrote when my kids were in elementary and middle school, and they're now 30 and 27. But I think some of the things are timeless, and I hope that they bring a little laugh or a little melancholy or just a little feeling of that you're normal, I'm normal, that we're really not alone, even if we can't be in the same room with our girlfriend or our family, um, and that we need to remember to laugh at ourselves, like I had to do this morning, like, this is what I looked like, hey. Um, and then also that there's probably by the times you feel insecure or looking at, the mom down the street or whatever, or the mom on Facebook who's just obviously doing it way better than you are, right? That there's probably, no, I'm certain there is somebody out there who is idolizing you as well and wishing they were doing what you were doing, even when you're sitting at home thinking, she's doing it better, I'm a complete failure. So the first piece I want to read to you is called My Idol. I needed to pick up my daughter from Alma's house, and I was nervous. Alma is my idol. I've been worshiping her at the bus stop for months, but since we'd always swapped kids at the corner, I'd yet to step into her house. According to bus stop mommy lore, Alma designed and decorated her house herself, right down to sewing the curtains, reupholstering the furniture, and hand-dipping the candles. She's the only mom at the bus stop who had a Valentine's Day gift for the bus driver. It was a gold Godiva box wrapped in a real fabric ribbon, tied in a big red perfect bow. Tucked under the bow was a hand-addressed envelope that didn't have, "Your postage here helps feed a hungry child," scratched off first. That was the morning I offered to put her youngest child on the bus while she drove her other daughter to school early. In her impeccably clean car, wearing ironed matching clothes and makeup. There I stood in my reindeer pajamas and parka, holding the bus driver's gift when the other moms circled around, coffee cups trembling. "Hey, Reinhardt, what's the big deal making the rest of us look bad? I thought we had a pact." "It's not mine," I yelped. "It's Alma's. Her daughter's too shy to hand it to the driver, so I agreed to do it." "Well then, who's got a pen? Let's add our names to it." Alma's the one who always has her roots touched up on time. She wears lipstick to the bus stop when the rest of us are wearing yesterday's mascara on our cheeks. I've never seen her nail polish chipped. She knows all the good scoop from school and has the common sense and logic to decipher the facts from folly. She simultaneously finished her master's degree running the Girl Scout cookie campaign and church charities. She delivers her kids on time to soccer practice, clarinet, and horseback riding lessons, then cooks them meals with more than 2 colors. All this on 4 or 5 hours of sleep each night. I know because I'll get an email from her time-stamped 12:39 a.m. with the next one marked 5:42 a.m. and they're coherent. I felt the overwhelming need to clean my house before I walked over to Alma's, but I snapped out of it, dug my lipstick out of the crevice in the minivan, and headed over. The smell of dinner wafted through the air. We relaxed in her gorgeous living room where Alma actually rested her feet on the white ottoman. "Coffee?" she asked. I gazed across the foyer. There was a plant with 3 dead leaves. The dining room table looked as if it hadn't seen the light of day since last Easter. The candles were leaning, and every stair had a pile on it. The whines and bickering of girls from upstairs echoed over the banister. "I'd love some," I said, and I love that woman. Okay, so here I was all, "Ooh, she's perfect." And I got into her house and like, "Oh, hey, she's not perfect. Yes, Scar, we'll be friends." Somewhat related to that is what I like to call productive day guilt, which is at the end of the day, husband comes home, "Honey, what'd you do today?" And you're like, A, you get resentful, B, you have no idea because you honestly can't remember. You know you did something. C, you really feel like you should have something more to show for it. And it's so easy to get caught in that trap, especially if we're stay-at-home moms or even, or if we're working moms and balancing taking care of the house and outside stuff. I think we all feel that, like, did I do enough? Did I do right by my kids? Did I, anyhow. So one day I got this phone call from a dear, sweet friend, older friend, like a mother type. And she said, I don't want to keep you. I'm sure you've got a lot to do today. And I wanted to scream, "Don't hang up. There is nothing more important right now than for me to sit down and talk to you, my precious, precious friend." But going through my head, to tell you the truth, I was thinking I left the lid up on the washing machine. And the suspense was kind of killing me. Like my brain was going to the laundry room. And then I thought, what is so earth-shatteringly important in my day that I can't take the time to talk to a dear friend? I mean, the kids were at school. It's not like they were running, woo, And I had noted the dust isn't going anywhere, and the dirty fruit of the looms will keep piling up until I'm good and ready for them. Unfortunately, I wasted years of potential domestic bliss worrying about being productive. My husband came home every 2 weeks with a paycheck that proved he'd been productive every day. I stood there with snot shimmering on my shirt, a whiny kid on my hip, and another running through the house naked except for Desitin smeared over every inch of her body. True story. Blame it on the feminist movement of the 60s and 70s. Blame it on my college degree. Whatever the reasons, I felt that as a stay-at-home mother, I had to prove myself. I needed to produce tangible evidence of my productivity during all that free time at home. I was stupid. A productive mother, I have determined, is one who, at the end of the day, typically knows her children's names by the 3rd try. She might even try to remember her own name and address. By the end of the day, the children of a productive mother will have eaten something, even if it were defrosted 10 minutes before mealtime. They most likely will have used a toothbrush on their teeth at least once. They're clean enough that even the dog will lick them, and their bathrooms are cleaner than those found at a frat house. Every member of the household has enough underwear or diapers for one more day. Then again, even the most productive mother occasionally turns off her mind-reading capabilities and is informed by a resident teenager at 6 a.m. that his underwear drawer is empty. This is why baby powder was invented. When our kids were still babies, my friend Beth called and shared with complete ease. Sarah was sick yesterday, and the only thing that made her happy was to be held and rocked. So that's what we did all day. I remember wishing I could sit and rock my baby boy without worrying about what wasn't getting done. It still makes me cry. 30 years later, almost 31. Yesterday, I brought my teenage boy home from the hospital following surgery. I pumped him full of pain medicine and got him settled on the couch. I pulled over the rocking chair, sat down, and watched him sleep for hours. It was a very productive day. So, again, the funny thing is sometimes I still fall into this trap now that I'm basically retired. I feel like I should be getting more things done or being more productive, And don't tell my husband, but sometimes I will make the bed 5 minutes before he gets home from work. So I'm like, hey, look at me. I wasn't slacking off. I made the bed. Yeah. Okay, what else? And if the guilt does kick in, I remind myself that man has never had an empty underwear drawer in almost 33 years of marriage. So I have 2 more little pieces I want to share with you. This one's just actually just the other day we got into this conversation about how an idea, basically the theory of it's his good idea. So you'll see what I mean. I'm sure you'll catch on really fast. We took down the Christmas tree this weekend. I count it as one of my least favorite tasks, so I procrastinate. Fortunately, January 12th was still the Christmas season, albeit the last day thereof, according to the church calendar. Boy, that piece of wood made all the difference in the world. It was about the 3rd time in 10 minutes my husband said it. The oft overrated and misunderstood beast known as the tender male ego probably needed a stroking at this point, but I just couldn't do it. I smiled sweetly and agreed and left it at that. Except I was not conditioned to just leave things at that. I was raised to debate, cajole, and justify. I was also conditioned to take credit where credit was due. Growing up, humility was not one of the principal virtues extolled around our kitchen table. However, it's one of the key virtues of a happy marriage, and I'm trying to adjust accordingly. After 15 years, I can comfortably say that my mother was right. It's not a good idea until it's his idea. Wives are the brainchild of the family. We come up with all sorts of brilliant ideas that go unheeded until they are uttered from the male mouth. The board was my idea. A year ago. Christmas 2001. After a day in Boone, we were home with our fresh-cut tree, an 11-foot excuse for instant divorce. Perhaps it was the fresh mountain air and excitement of our first North Carolina Christmas, but it seemed like a grand idea at the time. Besides, we hadn't had to lift it up yet, or figure out how to make it stand without a root ball. So there we were in our front yard with this 11-foot carcass wrapped in red nylon netting. We dutifully sawed the bottom of the trunk until it fit securely in our tree stand. All 4 of us carried the beast inside, no one wanting to admit how heavy it was. Why ruin the festive spirit? We stood the tree up in the family room, scraping the ceiling. Then, and the next 8 times we attempted to prop it up. Seems our tree stand wasn't made to hold the abominable snowman, which is exactly what our tree looked like after we tied it to the walls and kitchen cabinets. The nails are still there. But before Mr. Abominable was born, Scott went to Lowe's for a new tree stand. I said, get a 4x4 piece of plywood while you're there. I think if we attach the stand to the wood, it'll give the tree a wider base for weight distribution and balance. Did he listen? The new stand crumbled and bent from the weight of the tree. Pine needle sap and raw nerves flew everywhere. Muttering under my breath about plywood and attorneys, I scrounged up the hammer, nails, and rope. This Christmas, we settled for a conservative 9-foot tree. This Christmas, we were prepared. I bought a new tree stand that specified holds up to a 10-foot tree, and Scott made sure the tree didn't enter the house until he laid down his newly purchased 4x4 board. It was his idea, you know. All right, I just have one last, I think it's a kind of sweet little piece that shows at the end of the day we get a happy ending. So here we go. It's called It's the Day. It's the day you spend 1 hour vacuuming the house and 3 hours trying to dislodge a pink Barbie comb out of the vacuum cleaner engine. It's the day you vacuum and shampoo the minivan, only to realize it's your turn to haul the entire red Gatorade drinking Oreo munching soccer team tomorrow. It's the one day out of the month your husband is available for lunch, only to realize it's the one day you committed to babysit a friend's child so she can go to her doctor's appointment. It's the day you get a sitter for the baby, switched preschool carpool days, set the alarm 30 minutes early to put on makeup and iron a shirt in order to get to school for the class party, only to find out your kid told you the wrong day. It's the day you rush out the door to meet the afternoon bus on time, stub your toe and spill your coffee on your shirt, only to have your kid say, "Why didn't you bring the dog?" It's the day you remember to bring the dog to the bus stop, but he sees a cat and pulls you into the half-shut door, which hits your brow bone so hard you see stars, but you stumble to the bus stop anyway, only to have the kid say, "Why are you late?" It's the day you spend the morning in bed trying not to puke, then the rest of the day in the bathroom puking, but manage to put dinner on the table, only to have the kid say, "Gross, I hate this." It's the day you stay up until 2 a.m., true story, finishing the Halloween costume your child would die if they couldn't have, only to have your kid declare at the light of day, "Never mind, Mom, I'm just going to wear last year's costume." It's the day you spend hours dusting every last knick-knack, window blind, and piece of molding in your family room, only to have someone light a fire in the fireplace without checking to see if the flue was open. It's the day you mop the white linoleum kitchen floor, only to have half the soccer team run in off the rain-soaked field for a snack with their cleats still on. It's the day you do every load of laundry but the reds, only to have your kid tell you at 10 p.m. that he needs his red shirt for PE class tomorrow. It's the day you splurge for a sitter so you can go shopping and have lunch with your girlfriend, only to have your kid wake up with the high fever and the runs. It's the day you cave into your maternal conscience and put clean sheets on those stupid bunk beds, only to throw your back out and be forced to cancel the hair appointment that was making your life worth living for the last 2 weeks. Quarantine hair. It's the day you're cemented to the couch with that bad back and heating pad, wondering if you'll be incapacitated through the rest of the fall planting season, only to have your daughter bring you a get well drawing, a root beer, and a kiss. It's the day when anything that could possibly hit the domestic fan and fly in your face does. Only you realize it's going to be okay. So, again, it's going to be okay. We've got each other in this. Someone else is most definitely looking up to you and idolizing you. And hopefully we can all keep remembering to laugh at ourselves. Again, I'm Karen Reinhart. You can find me on Facebook or on my website, KarenJReinhart.com, or just Google the Bus Stop Mommies and you'll find me. If you want to read more, just let me know. Thanks.